It's all about the transcendence of judgment, the transcendence of duality. This notion of looking at the world as being either good or evil. It's realizing also that the things that we judge negatively are the things that we attract in our lives over and over again. We literally become a hammer that's seeking a nail of our own self-validation of being a light worker, right? The thing that's going to fight the bad thing. When all along, maybe you're the designer of your own game experience. All of it for the benefit of your own conscious expansion. And to realize and remember who we are, and also to realize that the reason we're here is not to learn more judgments, but rather we're here to learn how to love. We're here to learn how to love and how to receive love. Because that's really what happens. When we look at ourselves, the things we don't like about ourselves start projecting over and over and over again in the world around us, because those aspects of the higher self, of us, of the self, the full self, when you are in your complete authentic nature, combining both the part of you that you want the world to see in one light, like I had my LinkedIn on one aspect, and then I had my Instagram on another. When you finally combine and become the authentic you, and you fall in love with your experience, that's when you become enlightened. Because then you fall in love with everything around you as well. It's a love fest. Even when bad things happen to you, you realize, well, wait a minute, throughout time, what I thought was a bad thing that happened to me actually turned out to be one of the best things that ever happened to me. So time has this aspect of polarity. And it's just like music, if you know musical interval. So I could play a note, C, and then go to E, and that's one of the most beautiful chords in music. It's called a major third. Mm-hmm. But it's inverse, and most people, when they hear a major third, which is just da, da, and often you'll hear it with a perfect fifth, da, 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 right? And you play all three together on a piano, sounds great, fabulous. Whoa, it's like love. It's awesome. Everyone always plays those chords on the piano. But if you play them backwards, if you go in a descending arc on that, so I just played an ascending by going da, da, da. If I do a descending arc of that and inverse the order of it, so it becomes, instead of C to E, it goes from E to C, yep, right? And it's going down. That becomes a minor sixth. A minor sixth is negative. People, when they listen to that, they're like, "Oh, that sounds like heartbreak."
Why?
So isn't that interesting? That chords of music, one direction through time, because the only difference in music could be like a time tracker, is that I play the order different. But the same two notes that I play in the descending order through time, and it turns from joy and love to sadness and heartbreak. What does that say to us? What it says is that the experience we have of love houses and embeds the seed of heartbreak. The experience of sadness has within it the seed of love and joy. And that's true across all chords of music. And what I'm going to tell you about the pyramids is that there are chords in music, right? The major third that I just told you is 5/4 relationship. It's 1.25, 5 divided by 4. It's simple. So if you take the Hertz frequency of a C note, multiply by 1.25, you're going to get an E note in Pythagorean tuning. It's perfect. But okay. So then now if we take the inverse of these, right? And we start looking at all of these different relationships, a perfect fifth would be da, da, da. So that's the first and the third note. So it's da, 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 da. That's a perfect fifth. Perfect fifth means stability. It's stability. You feel secure, stable, safe, right? That is a relationship of 3/2. And then the sound that we have when Darth Vader enters the room is what I already did. Dun, 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 dun. That is a diminished fifth, which is like the most terrible sound of music because it always makes you feel like a villain just entered, right?
Wow.
Well, guess what? The pyramids on the Giza Plateau, the height to the base, 1/2 the base of Menkaure Pyramid, the smallest pyramid, is 5/4. the height of the Khafre pyramid, the second pyramid, the one in the middle, is 4/3, which is a perfect fourth, which has its inverse as a perfect fifth. And the base to height relationship of the Great Pyramid is the diminished fifth. The Great Pyramid is actually the imperfect or the unfinished mankind. All of the musical intervals, there are 13 musical intervals, 13 total. Every one of them is represented perfectly in the proportional dimensions of all three pyramids. So when we look at the three pyramids on the Giza Plateau, we are looking at the architectural form of musical interval representing all musical intervals. So it's the full spectrum of sound, which is the absorption. Sound is the absorption of light. Sound carries mass. And its representation then in light form would be a rainbow of light. We're literally looking at, when we look at the Giza Plateau, a rainbow spectrum of light. All musical intervals are perfectly represented. If you don't believe me, do the research, look it up. You will see. And we only discovered this a few weeks before I went to Egypt.